I love when a black community says, let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get a
Asian Americans and Black Americans, they have a lot in common in the past. The original history between Asian Americans and Black Americans is a deeply intertwined narrative of profound cross-racial solidarity and a systematic friction spanning over 150 years. So I want you to watch and see that how it came, how it had been in the past between Asian Americans and Black Americans before we concentrate on what is happening now. Okay, have a look.
the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromat.
It is so damn ironic of you to bring up Chinese restaurants and dry cleaners and laundromats because we didn't choose those jobs. We were actually forced into them due to the anti-Asian laws created by white Americans and white European immigrants. And the only reason why those businesses survived was largely because of the support of black people.
While the media might concentrate mostly on the conflict between Black Americans and Asian Americans, we have the history, we have the good history that they had together, struggles against oppression, joint political activism, and shared cultural spaces. So it's not only, we realize that the one that is portrayed outside there, that's about conflict and everything, this is not the only thing that people share. They also share past. They have good past. They have good things that they've done together. Let's continue watching and see.
But a lot of you bootlickers don't know your history. And for that, I'm going to have to take you to school. Domain expansion. Infinite TED Talk. What's up, everyone? My name is Rainier, and this is the true history of boycotting Asian businesses. You see, before Chinese restaurants and gas stations and beauty supply stores, the first Chinese migrants were actually in America in the 1800s during the California Gold Rush, and then to build the Transcontinental Railroad across the West Coast. But when the gold ran out and the final train tracks were laid, the American economy fell into a depression, and poor white Americans and European immigrants started to feel threatened by Chinese labor. And so what do? They joined anti-coolie clubs, and they advocated for anti-coolie laws that would limit the opportunities of Chinese laborers and tax anybody who hired Chinese workers. The racism was so bad that Chinese people were hunted down in their neighborhoods, beaten up by mobs of white men, or just straight up lynched in the streets. This violence is a big reason why Chinatowns were created in the first place. They are ghettos. They are safe spaces where Chinese people could set up shop and live together. But because of these anti-coolie laws, the only businesses that they could set up and get financing for were restaurants, grocery stores, and laundromats. Quick side note, so you should definitely watch the Warrior series because it's based on the writings of Bruce Lee, and it's set in the 1870s during all this anti-Asian racism. But even though Black people were fighting their own freedoms at the time, they still took the initiative to speak up for Asians. And in 1869, the great Frederick Douglass gave the Composite Nation speech, where he said, "Let the Chinaman come. He will help to augment the national wealth. He will help to develop our boundless resources. He will help to pay off our national debt. He will help to lighten the burden of our national taxation. He will give us the benefit of his skill as a manufacturer and as a tiller of the soil in which he is unsurpassed." And then in 1871 in Los Angeles, a mob of 500 white men robbed Chinese businesses and killed 19 Chinese immigrants. Hatred was so commonplace that companies would release advertisements to sell their laundry products using anti-Chinese racism. And then decades later, when the Hoover Company needed to sell washing machines, they published this ad over here depicting Chinese laundromat workers being displaced by automation. Now, if you watched Sinners, you probably remember the two Asian characters over here who ran a grocery store. And a lot of people were kind of confused why they were included. But that's because many Asians who left the West Coast due to a lack of work and racism, they fled to the South to work on sugar and cotton plantations. Many of those same Asians set up grocery stores in those Black neighborhoods, which means Black people were speaking up for Asians in the West Coast and putting dollars into our businesses in the American South. Fast forward to the 1980s when Vincent Chin was bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat by two white men who thought that Vincent was Japanese. Ronald Ebens and Michael Nitz recently lost their job at the Chrysler factory, and they blamed the Japanese car market for destroying the American automotive industry, and so they killed Vincent Chin. And when the Asian community needed to seek justice, who showed up for us? Jesse Jackson. I could honestly keep going, but I'm going to end on this note. If you know the Disney movie, The Jungle Book, then you know the author of the original book, Rudyard Kipling. But what you might not know is that Rudyard also infamously created the poem, The White Man's Burden, which symbolizes the pain and the struggle of being a white man who is responsible for carrying African, Asian, Latino, and indigenous people out of the jungles of barbarism into the promised land of civilization. But for a lot of you bootlickers, you seem to think that just because you're in another basket that you're better than black folks, even though we've worked on the same plantations and we've been lynched by the same angry mobs. You're trying so hard to get invited to the picnic, even though history has proven that we'll never truly be accepted by them. And in fact, history shows us the opposite. History has shown us that even though black people have no reason to invite us to the cookout, for well over a century, they have still had the heart to save us a plate. So to all you ungrateful Asian bootlickers out there crying about black people boycotting Asian businesses, just know that this protest doesn't come from nowhere. It came from over 100 years of showing love to Asian people and not receiving that same love and support in return. And goddamn, I think it's time that we need to return the favor.
From what you hear, Black Americans and Asian Americans, they have a lot that they're shared in common, and it seems like they have a strong bond and strong history. And right now that the Black Americans are boycotting, a lot is coming up. Maybe Asian Americans also don't want the Black Americans to maybe to lose the customers because they have been collaborating. But what I would like to say that let's get back to the history where you guys started. Is it possible that you can drop all this that is happening? Can we blame the system for all that is happening, that the system should take charge of what happened? Could you go back to your history and know where you've come from and work together? Can it continue this way? Can we continue having peace? I, as Emily, I can call for peace between Asian Americans and Black Americans so that they can continue working together, because basically from what I see, all of them have been benefiting from each other. And I just call upon that they realize their worth, both parties, so that we can continue living in peace. Personally, I don't support racism. I don't support division. I encourage that community work, doing things together, having peace and everything. Because if we boycott each other, if we talk bad about each other, I think this division is the benefit of like those people who don't like you. For example, if you have a common enemy and the enemy sees you guys not together, not working together, it's their joy. So I didn't say you have an enemy, but if in that case, so you guys should continue working together, should continue building the same thing, should continue going higher instead of dividing, like division at this critical moment. Above all, it's okay to call the system to work on each and everything. So let's try to divide topics so that we don't mix up things. Yeah, if Cyrus was killed, the system should follow order to seek justice. Like Cyrus deserves justice. Let's say that's it. Cyrus deserves justice, and the person who was involved in killing should be taken to the court, and everything should be dealt with officially, like through the court, like the order. You understand what I mean? Okay, once again, my name is Emily. If you feel that the channel I share or the information I'm sharing is good and it's peaceful, kindly subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day. Bye.